Hey, Tim Sykes here. The stock market is closed right now on Monday. I'm actually filming this on a Friday afternoon because I have a busy weekend where I'm just spending it with friends and family, so I don't want to interrupt that. But I want to prepare you for the market tomorrow, and that's why I'm making this video. Also, I have to tell you that guess what? I am so honored by so many of you tweeting at me. Keep tweeting at me, okay? I'm Timothy Sykes. That is my username. And it doesn't matter how big or small your profit is. Look at this. Here's Hung, and he made 177 bucks. And he says small profit, but he's learning a lot. Learning and earning, that is the key. Don't worry if it's $177. We all start somewhere. Also, I got to give props to this guy. He just messaged me in my chat room, DYO17, and he said, thanks to your teaching, Tim, I just purchased my first vehicle. And that is a very memorable time in your life when you get your first vehicle. If you do really well and you get your first exotic car, if you make your first $100,000 like I did in college, there's a lot of memorable milestones. And again, we all start somewhere. So I don't even care what kind of vehicle it is. I'm glad that you're learning, and I'm glad that my stuff can help. And then also I got to give props to Jermaine Russell. He liked this video about my student of the year, Mark Crook, who has passed $630,000 in profits. And I'm so proud of Mark Crook, and I encourage all of you guys to check out that video and share it on social media, because Mark Crook does so much good work, not just in trading for himself, but also mentoring other challenge students, helping out in the chat room, making some amazing presentations. And I'm actually going to share with you a free webinar of his in the next few days, because his teaching is just so on point lately too. It was actually kind of crazy. He had a comment on CNAT today, exact same time. Wow, look at this. I'm looking at CARA. It's actually jumping up. On CNAT, and you know, a lot of people were shorting this today, and I just don't know why. You know, if you study my rules, you don't short the first green day. I understand that it's been a good short for like 2 days, but when the trend changes, that is usually a sign to buy. And I wouldn't necessarily buy it here in the 440s. Like I said, that's a congestion zone if you were in my chat room today. But you don't want to be shorting on the first green day, especially with this stock, because it's proven that it can spike, you know, very quickly. So if you are short, be very careful, please. One other quick note, two other quick notes. Trader checklist. This guide is only free for, what day am I going to post this? I'm going to post this on the 26th. So for 5 more days, you will have to watch Trader Checklist. It is 11 hours long. So if you put in 2 hours a day, you can finish it before it goes premium next year in 2017. I've kept it free for a while. You've had your chance, but very few of you are watching it. And I think it's because it is free. You guys don't respect free videos. You think, oh, it's free. I'm just going to watch it whenever. It's not important. I don't value it. Well, guess what? You have 5 days to watch all 11 hours. And you can do it. It's really good. People love it. Also, we have this sale for 5 more days. This is our Christmas and Hanukkah sale. 30, 40, 50% off annual newsletters only, no monthly. I want to encourage you to study for the long haul. You know, you're not going to become a millionaire in week 1, month 1, or month 2, or 3, or 4. It's going to take a few years at best case scenario. And then also these DVDs are 40, 50, 60, 70% off. So let's talk about some stocks right now. So CNAT is one that I was considering buying into the close. I like buying the first green day. Especially, you know, this stock probably got a little too far ahead of itself. If you remember, I bought in the mid 4s and sold in the mid 5s on my first trade. And then I had a few other trades. The first trade was the best because I was just early with the breaking news. But it's come down, and now today it's had a green day. So what is going to happen on Tuesday? Well, it could potentially spike to the mid 4s or the high 4s, I guess. I don't know. You know, I don't predict the future. I'm just trying to react, and I'm trying to choose the best odds. And the best odds are based on the previous trading day. So on Friday, which is today, but when you see this video, it'll be Monday. So the last trading day, this stock spiked very quickly in the morning and held its gains pretty much all day. And this is very similar to ANY a few days ago. And then ANY actually double topped at 44 cents and then came down. CNAT, though, is a little different than ANY. ANY Let me bring up ANY just so that you can compare. ANY had the big spike and it held its gains, and then it retested the highs, and then it double topped here at 44 cents. And it was a perfect dip buy here in the 30s. I made 20% plus overnight. But it's come down because it's kind of a junky stock if you look at the long-term chart. Straight down. So you have these January effect type spikes, but they're not necessarily lasting. CNAT is a little different. You got a big spike, but it wasn't due to the January effect. It was the fact that they're partnering with a $170 billion company, and they're just a little $50 million company, and they're getting $50 million in cash, and they actually look like they have potential right now. So you have to respect earnings winners. I bring up SYNC as a classic earnings winner example. It spiked from the 1s to the 3s, and now it's held that pretty much for the past few months because they won a $100 million deal to design AT&T.com and manage it. So big contracts you don't necessarily want to short. CNAT doesn't have exactly a great history of holding spikes, so I'm not really surprised that people have taken profits, but now it has a green day. And the green day could be meaningful. It might not be, but it could be. And again, if you're shorting this stock, it could spike too quickly where you're not even going to be able to cut your losses. So if you're wrong about, shorting, it's very dangerous. If you're right on, going long, it can be very good very quickly. I traded it a few times. The first time I made $1 a share. The second time I made like 60 cents a share. And then the third time I made like 10 cents a share. The third time it just didn't really bounce. But I did not wait for the first green day. So this kind of pattern would be something that I would potentially buy, except it's in this congestion zone in the 430s, 440s. If it had closed in the 450s or 460s, I would probably be long because it would show that it could, break the morning highs. I like stocks that break the morning highs. Another potential buy was SGYP. And this one, the high here was 528. It broke the midday. It broke the morning high, but it was midday. So for me, I like stocks that break the morning high in the afternoon. I don't like midday breakouts. Most of the time they would fail. In this case, SGYP, it succeeded. Is it a January effect play? I mean, I don't know. It's like this little sketchy biotech. It's in the middle of this range now, or actually at the top of the range. When the breakout happened, it was in the middle of the range. So that's why I really didn't want to buy it. I don't like buying stocks mid-range. I like buying stocks if they break out or they're, getting close to breaking out. Because when a stock is getting close to breaking out, then it can really surge. So now this is spiked big on huge volume. And this very well could break this range. Looks like the top of the range is like 596-ish. It's just tough. I don't like buying stocks that are, like so choppy, first of all, don't have a good history of spiking very much or holding their spikes. I guess it's not bad over 200 days, but if you scroll out to 2 years, I mean, just a lot of congestion going back all the way here to late 2015, right in the 6 zone. So with a stock like this that's already 575, if it does break out tomorrow, it's going to be tough. I don't know. Maybe it gets to like 620 or 610. Just, it doesn't look like it has that much upside. And you have to be wary when these stocks have these congestion zones. You hear my nose? I'm congested, right? And it's not fun. It's because I'm Jewish and because it's winter time and that's just what happens. And I'm also working too hard and traveling too much. But congestion is not fun. So look for these key congestion zones. And, it also has this top right here at 590-ish. So I'll be watching it tomorrow. I have no problem potentially buying this one or potentially buying CNAT. But neither of them really fit my patterns to a T. And if a pattern doesn't get fit to a T, I just don't need to trade it. In fact, I did not need to trade at all today. I was perfectly happy going into the long weekend with no positions, but something happened on the way to that. CARA, which I bought previously, on the earnings win, which was right in here. The first day that they had really good earnings here in the 7s. And I totally underestimated it. It went all the way to the 12s. You can look back at my trades. I think I made like 50 cents a share, but it freaking went up $5 a share. So earnings winners are awesome. But lately, I think this was probably too much. And lately, it's been in the zone of basically 9-ish to 10-ish. And you have, again, this congestion zone. The top right here was 990. The top here was 10. The top here was like 1023. It did get up to 1064, but then it came down. And again, the top is like 990, 10-ish. Okay, so we're in this congestion zone. It's kind of good that I'm doing this video while I'm congested. Hold on, let me blow my nose so you can see what it sounds like when you break the congestion zone. Ah, that feels good. I'm breaking up my congestion zone in my nose, but I'm still a little congested. It's still tough to talk for 10, 20 minutes at a time. But the beautiful thing about CARA, I don't know if I would chase it here at 1013, but I do like the fact that it is breaking out, okay? And look at the intraday here. So intraday, the top again was 990-ish. So this is really not that much of a surprise because we clearly see that in the past few weeks, past few months, 990, 10-ish has been a huge barrier. So when it spikes up, really quickly, I mean, this is all in the first half hour of the trading day. This does have a history of morning spiking. So when it spikes up, you can kind of guess where the congestion zone and the resistance is going to be. And it was around 990. And if you want to short morning spikes, by all means, do it. But I'd encourage you to please study trading tickers first. Okay? If you ever want to short a morning spike, please, I am begging you, don't just do it, for fun. Short after you have the knowledge, after you've seen trading tickers. Trading tickers is by my top student, Tim Grittani, $1,500 now into what, 3.4 million in just over 4 years. And one of his key patterns that he teaches in this DVD is how to short morning spikes. I'm not very good at it, but he is. And he has over 3 dozen live trades on this guide. And it's, I think, a 15 or 16 hour guide. Everyone loves it. I love it. Watch this guide and you save 45% for just a few more days. Anyways, that's if you want to short the morning spike. If you want to dip buy, I mean, it's tough to dip buy midday. Okay, obviously looking at the chart, yeah, just dip buy it at 940, sell it at 10. It's so easy. But buying a stock mid-range and midday is very tough. I prefer looking at that key top of the range here at 990, 994, 10-ish. And in the afternoon, it tries to come back again, and then it breaks down. But look at this. Instead of going all the way down to 940 this time, it finds a bottom here in the 970s. So now you're kind of in this zone here where it's like 995 by, call it 970. So the zone is much tighter. And the question is, can it break this 990-ish level? And so for me, as it started uptrending here, I was buying it. Okay, and I was trying to buy it here in the 970s. I couldn't get executed until like 983, 984, but it really closed well. And I took a very small position. This is not like a gimme, but after hours, just look at it. I mean, you can see it trading here. I mean, it's just a few hundred shares at a time, but 1004, 1005, 1010, 1013. And why is that? Because it's above the 990 congestion zone. When it spiked here into the close, I mean, it did not necessarily break the 990 zone very well, but it held it. Notice the difference. This is what I want you to see, that stocks can get better and they try and kind of tell you a story over time. So in the morning, straight up, 60 cents a share, comes down, tries to come back, but the volume is already faded, as you can see, by 10:30 in the morning. I don't like trading mid-morning either. And so the morning spike basically, for all intents and purposes, fails. In the afternoon, it gets a little higher, barely to 10, but then it doesn't come all the way down to the 940s. It comes down to the 970. Then the third time, it gets even higher, and then it holds in the 990s. And I'm in around 980-ish. So I don't care if it closes, and I said this, I don't care if it closes at 990. I don't care if it closes at 10. I don't care if it closes at 1010. Because this is just the first up day on CARA, okay? And as you've seen, since its earnings win, it's proven that it can put together back-to-back big green days. Right here, you see 2 big green days. 2 big green days. Even this one, even though it didn't finish high, this green day was followed by a much bigger second green day, although it closed low. And this green day was finished by another green day. This one was the only time when it was still, one green, but, I don't really take that much away from this one green candle where it failed because it was still coming down off its highs. Once it already finds its kind of base, it can do 2 in a row. Actually, here was 3 in a row. Here was 2. Here was 3. This was a failed one. This was a failed one. Here was 2. And when they had the initial earnings, there was 4. So out of the multiple big green days that it's had, especially when there's been a big green volume spike. Notice the big green volume spike was right here, and then the second green day. And these 2 volumes were 2 bigger also. So it has a history of multi-day spiking. It has a history of morning spiking too, I should mention. Look at this. If you look at intraday, I want you to understand what I see, okay? I don't care if the stock fails. I have a lousy, 2,000 shares. If I fail, I lose $200 or $400. If I win, I make $600 or $800. It costs me more to send out email and text message alerts. This is the beauty of trading with a small account. I'm not in this for the money, okay? You can see how my account grows. I'm not saying that I don't make money trading. My $12,000 account has grown to over $100,000 in 2016. In 2017, I'll trade with just $5,000, so you can see that grow. But literally the money it costs for me to send out the alerts is more than the money I make from trading these small accounts. And I'm also donating my trading profits. It's just building my charity up, which already has several $1,000,000. So I want you focused. I'm not the typical trader. I don't want you chasing these plays. I don't want you following my plays. I want you learning. And that is how I create millionaires. I know it's tough. I know the whole industry, it's all about chat rooms and newsletters. Buy this, buy alert, buy alert. Fucking useless. That does not create millionaires. And that's probably why I'm the only one with several millionaire students who show every trade publicly. Don't give me this crap about, oh, I have 1 millionaire. Oh, we're just not going to show all of his trades. We're just going to show a screenshot here or there. I don't believe you. I don't believe anybody in this shady industry. But if you show every single trade like me and my top students do, it's kind of tough to refute. So that's my little spiel on full transparency. Here is what I'm talking about when this thing likes to morning spike. The other day, 2 morning spikes in a row. Big morning spike, big morning spike. It ultimately failed at $10 a share because, again, that was the congestion zone. But now we have a morning spike and we have an afternoon spike, and after hours it's spiking a little bit, 10:05 now by 10:13. I could sell right now and make 25 cents a share. I can make $500. Do I care? No. This is an educational example, and I'm kind of curious to see if it can break this congestion zone. I'll be watching SGYP, but SGYP does not have a history of great morning spiking. I'll be watching CNAT. This does have a recent history of morning spiking, but it's at a very difficult zone that's mid-range. If it had closed at excuse me, if this had closed closer to 540 or 530, I would be more interested because then you could get a big breakout up to the 6s. But when a stock closes mid-range, that would be like CARA, closing, forget it if it had no afternoon spike at all. Let's say it just closed at 950. Okay, maybe it's going to spike back to 10, but at 950, what if it also goes back to 930 or 920? Mid-range is very difficult to play. If you're at the upper end of the range and it looks like it's breaking out to new highs, like CARA is doing right now, that is much more interesting to me because this looks like it's going to morning spike on Tuesday, tomorrow, or tomorrow when you see this video. I might be wrong, okay? It might totally fail at 10 again. You can see here it spiked up. Here was one morning spike, consolidation, afternoon spike, followed up by a second day spike. So this reaction is very similar to this reaction. Look at that. This is almost exact. And this one closed this one actually closed at 987. So this didn't even close above the springboard, which was 10. And then the next day it got up to 1060. So I don't know how high CARA goes tomorrow. I could be totally wrong. It might totally fail here at 10-ish. and I'll take a small loss or I'll take a small gain and I'll live in shame forever. No, I mean, small losses and small gains don't really matter. They don't move my account one way or the other. That's what you have to think. So I want you more focused on the fact, why did I buy this stock? Because it has a history of morning spikes. It has a history of multi-day spikes. It's a recent earnings winner. It's in a hot sector, which is weed. And CANN is kind of like the leader again in weed stocks. And CANN has been running for several days now, multiple green days up. So all of these trends, and then also, and I forgot to mention, probably the most important of all of this is that CARA is above its recent range. And it's within shooting distance, it's above this 990 level, and it's within shooting distance of breaking out to the mid-10s or the high 10s. I'm not saying this is going to 11 or 12 or 20. I'm not saying this is a great company. I am in this specifically for a possibly predictable morning spike tomorrow. You never know 100% if you're going to be right. You never even know 90% or 80%. But on average, I've been winning roughly 70% of the time for, nearly 20 years now. So we'll see. I could be wrong on any trade. And I take that mentality with me, so I trade like a wuss. I would not necessarily chase it here at 10.13 because it very well might fail. But when I'm in around 9.80, there's just not as much risk, and it's closing nicely, and it's acting very nicely. So anyways, that is my holiday spiel for today. I hope you have a good day off. Study my guides. Study all guides. Study Tim Grittani's guide, okay? When you have a day off from the actual market, a lot of you degenerates who just want to trade or you want to watch football, do something productive instead. Build your knowledge, grow your brain, and use it to, just learn new patterns and learn from those of us who have turned a few thousand into a few million. I know it sounds crazy. I know there's people all over the web that claim to do the same, but they don't show all their trades transparently. Only trust people who show every single trade. And it helps, that frankly, I show this stuff in real time. If you were in my chat room on Friday, you know that this is the kind of thinking and stocks that I'm looking at right now. So anyways, market looks good, stocks look good, and I'm going to go take a nap because it's been a long week. I seriously hope you have a great holidays. Please take advantage of the sale. It's not lasting a few more days. Please watch my free trader checklist guide. It's really absolutely stunning and pathetic that more of you are not watching it. It is 100% free. There is no trickery involved. There is no money involved. I made it free because I wanted you to watch it so that you could really understand what's possible here. All you have to do is enter your name, enter your email, and you'll get instructions on how to watch the guide for free. All right. Thank you and good night.